Western medicine has completely failed America and the West. And this is how we fight against it. This is good for thought. Let's roll. What's good, everybody? First of all, I want to wish all of you lots of health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. This video is going to be super difficult for me to do. I'm not showing my face. But this video is to honor someone close that I lost to me in this past week. I want to honor that human being by talking about the information that I'm about to talk about, how to protect ourselves against modern Western medicine. So, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Daniel. Now, Daniel is the co-founder of Inaqua LLC, which this network channel is under. And again, I'm going to do a whole separate video commemorating this amazing human being, because first of all, he was and is an exceptional person, the kindest, most generous, most upfront person that you will ever meet. And I'm so thankful that I got to meet him. I'm so thankful that we got to spend time. But again, we're gonna commemorate him the right way. And just before we go on, I want people to understand that, probably this video is going to be blocked again or shadow banned or tossed to the side somewhere, but whoever hears it, that means you're supposed to hear it. So why I always say this media company, because this network channel, NazareN, and everything that we do is much more than just some YouTube channel or YouTube network. The whole idea and concept of Inaqua LLC and, projects like NazareN or Proof to Me That You're Alive or Romaniya Poet has been in the making for many years. It's been in the making because we want to provide the right type of information, because we have seen in all of these years in recent history that information has been weaponized, and there are countless of lives of people that have been, first of all, hurt by this information, and second of all, are suffering because of this information. So again, first and foremost, huge shout out to Daniel Fedejko, my brother. I love him with all my heart. My heart is very heavy. It's very difficult. But again, I'm doing this in his honor because we're going to talk about illnesses, and we're going to be talking about the big C. I'm not going to say what it is, because last time I put out with this word in the video was blocked. But we're talking about the big C illness. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. CAN, and it goes on. Because for someone like me, I lost my father to it. And when he first got diagnosed, I literally stopped everything I was doing, and I was researching nonstop and reading nonstop, because I wanted to know if oncology is going about it the right way. And I mentioned this story. It's when I found Dr. Caldwell, and huge shout out to Dr. Caldwell, because he literally cracked all the codes to how to proceed with encountering an illness such as this. Now, what's really weird is, what's not weird, it's all explained. We're not going to get into it in this video, but again, it's, it should be weird and strange to us that all of a sudden this big C illness is like a plague. I keep talking about it because it's ramping up, it's growing. And if you just look at our history from 100 years ago, it wasn't so. Even 30 years ago, when I was a kid in the Soviet Union, and then newly independent Ukraine, we never heard about it, man. It was like some very distant thing that someone out somewhere probably got it, but we didn't know what it was. And then when my father got diagnosed, and we were going to all these different centers and everything, and I seen little kids, man. I was like, how is this? Like, why is this? So first of all, I want to say to anyone that thinks, feels bad, maybe guilty because they wanted to help someone else, a loved one, they thought that they could possibly save a loved one. Listen, when someone is supposed to go, they're supposed to go, man. We all have that date. You can run, you can hide, you can live under your bed, but when your time comes, that bed will collapse on you. And that's something that I can say with certainty. So the issue is not to save someone. The issue is to try to minimize the suffering. And if you look at the way this C illness that has grown into an industry, it's a global industry. Dr. Caldwell talks about it all the time. This is a fact. It's becoming a global industry. But if you look at the medicinal side and you realize that the method of treating it hasn't changed since the 40s. A lot of people are going to argue with me on this and say, well, look, there's constantly research being done. Research is being done. I'm talking about the methods that are used to treat it. Like frying someone hasn't changed since the 1940s. And I know because I've gone through this, so I know the methods that they use when they approach this illness. And just ask yourself a question, right? And this is, again, one code that Dr. Caldwell has cracked, and it works. So ask yourself a question, and I've talked about this a million times. In order for us to solve a problem, what must we do first? The answer is simple. We must find the cause of that problem. The cause, the root of the problem. What is it? How are we supposed to solve anything unless we find out why did it happen in the first place? If your TV is broken, you won't just say, it's out of nowhere, out of space, it broke. Like, no, you're going to try to find the cause. What happened? If that happens to your computer, a car, or whatever. But when we talk about this C illness that has turned into a plague, a person comes to the so-called doctor, which they're not, they're MDs. They're there to sell you something, not to treat you from something. When a person comes seeking help, does that doctor ask you like Dr. Caldwell asks you? how did you get this C thing, right? It's not that you just like, again, do we think they want us to think that from space, from outer space, God forbid someone got a lump somewhere? That's how they treat us. They don't tell us, look, this might be the cause. Because if you find out the cause, you will know how to proceed to fix it, right? And that's why I love it when Dr. Colwell says, he asks you, how did you get this? He asks the patient, how did you get this? You know, and obviously the person is, first of all, angry. I didn't do this to myself. But then when you start digging deep, you realize that, first of all, you're taking the responsibility of your own illness. And second of all, you are looking for that root cause that's going to start helping you to treat whatever it is. And it's very important because, people get this C illness in different parts of the body, different parts of the organism. It could be the prostate. It could be, whatever. It could be, different things that are tumors in the brain. Like there's different ones, right? And again, what we are not explained, that there is a reason why you got this or that in this or that part of the body. There's a reason why. You might be holding on to something, right? That's connected to whatever. Let's say you're a man, right? Issues with prostate. You might be holding on to something that's connected to, to your father or your grandfather or whatever. Like there's a root cause. So these modern day so-called MDs, they don't tell you this, right? They make super serious faces because this is what their methodology and their doctrine has taught them, right? They're following a script. They're following a book. First of all, each and every single one of us are completely individual, man, right? With their own backstories and, and stress levels and this and that. So right away, we should be treated individually, right? But no, they go by the book, right? And they sit you down, they look at you with a super serious face and they say, look, you got this, right? But we don't know where it came from. It just came from outer space. Second, what they tell you is about the biopsy, right? Now, I would encourage anyone to go try to find online medical records, actual medical records, outdated medical records, and try to read and see the percentage of biopsies that were taken as opposed to the ones that actually came back positive or negative. You will be shocked because it turns out that almost no one gets a good biopsy, man, right? It's almost always for certain you got something. Why? Because again, while the organism is obviously going through some sort of a stress, it could be a mental stress, a physical stress, a biological, physiological, like any different type of stress. While your body is going through some sort of stress, right? They are telling you to, they are trying to poke you with a metal, right? With a scalpel, that's metal, and they're cutting off a piece of you. What do you think the body goes through when again, it's already under stress? Now it's under more stress. So of course, these C cells, right? CAN, whatever cells, they're going to multiply because your body's under the stress. What is the third thing that one of these MDs, if they're really treating you, what should they be telling you? Right away, right after they find out your cause, Then second, you know, let's see how bad this is. Let's not, run and do cut you up into, into pieces. And then thirdly, what they should be telling you is you need to go to therapy, psychiatric therapy. Yes. Because again, you didn't get this out of nowhere. 86% of this C plague that we are under now comes from stress. Only 14% can be something external, like, I don't know, you were zapped or something, you were affected by some environmental something, right? Only 14%. 86% is all stress related. Again, it could be mental stress, it could be physical stress, meaning like you're not getting enough sleep. It could be you're not eating the right food, you're not exercising enough, right? You're keeping way too much emotional constipation inside. Or it could be all of those put together. But there is a cause, right? And that's why while you're, trying to give your body that break, right? Not put your body under more stress, but you're actually trying to give your body that break, man. Take a breather. Let's see how we're going to proceed with this. You need to go to therapy, because talking and trying to figure out the cause is what's going to help, man. But they don't tell you that. What do? Well, they do something super logical, right? The body's already under stress. The body's trying to survive, because that's all it is. That sea plague that we're talking about is we all get it once in a lifetime. It's your body telling you, look, I've had too much, I'm about to shut down. But it's giving you that signal that, look, you can reverse this. But no, the MDs will tell you, look, we need to put you on more drugs. Yep, that's what it is, man. So now, besides, your body telling you that it's too tired, it's about to, it's given up, it needs a push. Now you're putting more stress into it by injecting yourself, or eating more drugs that don't cure anything, but have, they only numb up for a period of time, and then they have like 1,000 different side effects, man. So now you had this one thing, now you're possibly going to have like these 10 other things. And the only way that they go about treating it is, let's fry you, man. Let's fry your insides, right? Let's inject you with some crazy chemicals, man. And what I found out throughout this whole time is, and it's something very important for us to remember, right? That when they tell you, look, take this hormone or take this medication, right, for this or for that, the molecular structure of that medication is not an actual, per se, let's say a hormone that you are about to eat. No, that medication helps to release or jumpstart your hormonal process in the body, because something turned off in the body where chemically you're not releasing these hormones properly. But guess what? If you just give your body a boost, it will find a way to regulate. It will find a way to maintain and get better from whatever you are suffering. That's, our physical bodies were designed for that. They were designed for extreme survival. That's all it wants to do. As far as your organism, all it wants to do is live, right? So it's gonna find any type of way, man. But you're not told that. You're not. Your body goes under extreme punishment even more than you were. And I've seen it with my own eyes way too many times. Why I'm gonna shout out Dr. Caldwell forever, man, because when I found his methods, and just, if you're ever talking crap about Dr. Caldwell, just so you remember, the success rate of treating this C illness and plague that we have in America is 2% success rate, right? Dr. Caldwell has 96% success rate, man. Who would you rather listen to? And it's so crazy because there are plenty of countries and cultures that know these things. These are like simple things, but yet in the West and in America, they do everything to maintain the information that way that you look at people like me telling you this like we're crazy ones, man. And like there's nothing that you can do about this, man. You're supposed to, suffer and and go out like that, man. No one deserves to go out like that, man. So going back to Dr. Caldwell and my father, after being diagnosed, and trust me, I went about it every right way, man. It wasn't that I just like, oh, I'll listen to this guy. And no, we tried everything, man. But after being diagnosed to the day my father passed, 7 years passed, man. But that's not the point that 7 years passed. Thank God. I thank God for those 7 years. But the point was that he was running around, jumping around. He was living his normal life. That's the point. That he wasn't suffering for all those 7 years, man. While we see people get diagnosed and, 6 months, a year, they're suffering the whole time, bro. And you know what's even crazy? I remember super hard moment to remember, man. But when they brought my dad to the morgue, I went over there and the mortician tells me, look, we can bring him out, but you can't touch him because everything's just gonna fall apart. Now imagine, man. And why? Because for my dad stopped listening to me for the last remaining year. He went back to what the MDs were talking about. He gave up. My dad had a lot of mental issues, but he was so drugged up that a couple of hours after his soul left the body, man, the mortician told me, don't touch the body because it's going to fall apart, man. Now imagine what kind of stuff do you have to be pumped up with? And this is why so many people that pass from this C plague, they get cremated because the body just falls apart, man. It's like Jello, it falls apart. You touch it. Imagine what they are pumping these people up with, man. And again, if I said this so many times, in 2020, the West and America showed the whole world how unhealthy we are. It wasn't that the pandemic was worst here. No, it's because people were most unhealthy here. That's why the numbers went up at the rate that it went up, man. And again, we're talking mental health, physical health, spiritual health, all of that, man. So I don't want to go for too long, but I just pray that this video reaches you and you have time. If God forbid you or your loved ones come across this, you have time to stop and do your research and do the right thing. If you need to go see 100 doctors, go see 100 doctors, man. If you need to read 100 books, go read 100 books, man, because this is your life. This is your loved one's life. Don't just take their life and put it into these scumbags' hands, because these people are scumbags and they will be judged when everything is said and done, because you can say, okay, a lot of them don't know, they're following, what they were taught, but a lot of them know, a lot of them know, man, and they still keep doing it. So I will forever be thankful to Daniel for believing in the dream, for being who he was. And again, we're gonna make a separate video. It's just too early to make that video. It's just amazing human being. My brother, I love him forever. So this video is in his memory, and I pray that it reaches those that need this. Huge shout out to all of you. Thank you all for reaching out to me and showing your love during this hard time. As always, go hug your loved ones, go kiss them, go tell them how much you love them. This was good for thought. I'll see all of you on the rebound, man. You know what we say. Uno.